The following is a production of the University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Hi, this is David Arundel, your host for the Peer Assisted Learning Groups podcast. Thanks for spending some time with us today. This episode introduces us to Morgan, who is a study group leader for the SI program at Alvernia University in Pennsylvania. Morgan shared her experience as a study group leader in the General Anatomy and Physiology course. Topics of our conversation included how she became a study group leader, reasons that A&P courses are challenging for many students, particularly those in the first year, some of the most effective study group strategies that she's used, including how she uses Khan Academy videos during her sessions, some of Morgan's personal and professional development outcomes as a result of serving as a study group leader, and she concludes with a really powerful reflection about her experience in college education. To provide some additional context for our interview, I've also included a couple of PDF documents. First, an overview of the institution. Second, an overview of the Academic Success Center, which hosts the study group program that she works in. And the final item is an overview of academic content in a typical anatomy course. Let's listen in on our conversation. Well, welcome everyone. Glad that you're able to join us for the podcast today. We're talking to Morgan. Morgan, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are located.
Like you said, my name is Morgan, and I go to a mid-sized private Franciscan Catholic school in Pennsylvania.
Also, what are your activities that you do at school?
As for hobbies and outside of class activities, I'm a member of the women's ice hockey team here at my institution. We are an NCAA Division III school.
What are you studying in college, and what do you think your future career path might be?
I am a pre-physical therapy major, so I'll be starting PT school in the next 2 years, and so physical therapy, and I would love to get into research within physical therapy, kind of implement some functional medicine practices into traditional PT ideas.
And what caused you to become interested in that career?
I have family members who are physical therapists, and so I grew up around people in the field. Then just as I grew up and kind of learned about myself and what I was interested in, it was just a perfect fit.
Well, why did you decide to become involved as a study group leader?
Because I lead a study group for anatomy and physiology. And when I took that class, in order to be a study group leader, I did well and I really, really enjoy the class. But most people I knew really, really struggled with that class. I love anatomy and physiology so much, and I think it is such an absolutely incredible topic of study that I want so badly to show other people how cool anatomy and physiology is, rather than just being scared of it because it's hard.
What is it that makes it hard in that course? Or let's use the word challenging. What's challenging about A&P?
I think a lot of it is freshmen who take anatomy and physiology, some sophomores. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Anatomy and physiology, even for a college class, is very, very fast-paced and content-heavy. And because a lot of people who are taking this class are freshmen, that in combination with them being used to slower paced high school courses as a whole, I think it kind of is a really big slap in the face for a lot of people. You have to approach anatomy in order to be successful in anatomy and physiology. You really need to approach it in a different way and learn how to think in a way that you really haven't, or a lot of people have not had to beforehand. And so on top of learning the content, you're learning an entirely new way of thinking and approaching education.
For many programs, A&P is a gatekeeper course. And if you're not successful in that course, there's career options that close off from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And just so you know, the very first course that one of the big study group programs, which is called supplemental instruction, One of the very first class that was ever offered in was A&P. It was at the professional school level. And these were students who had graduated from high school with top marks. This was the very first time they ever stumbled in a course. These students were thinking about dropping out of medical school. The institution was so concerned they wanted academic support at the graduate. A&P across the United States is challenging for all the reasons that you shared. Well,
Absolutely.
what are one or two of your favorite study group activities that are effective in helping students to learn?
I love using various kinds of visual representations of the content that we're talking about. A lot of drawing. I am a huge believer in drawing and coloring and all of that kind of thing. That was how I studied when I took anatomy and physiology. So that was obviously one of the first things that I implemented in my sessions when I started doing SI for other people. And so we will do a lot of kind of group, like collective drawings where we're all kind of present a framework, and then everybody will come up and contribute to part of the drawing, or we'll do individual drawings. Like we'll watch Khan Academy is an excellent resource for anatomy and physiology. So we'll do a lot of, we'll watch Khan Academy video and then stop and talk about the stuff that was talked about, and they can draw the visuals as Sal from Khan Academy is drawing the visuals and kind of make it their own. And that's probably the best activity I have found for me personally and the people I've tutored is visual representations of some kind, whether it's drawing or graphing or charting, that kind of thing.
Just two last questions. Based
Mhm.
on your experience as a study group leader, how are you developing personally and professionally?
Based on what my career is going to look like as a physical therapist, I need to have excellent people skills in order to help people like I want to be able to. And I am really, really developing my people skills doing this. I'm working with all kinds of different people from all kinds of different backgrounds and prior knowledge, and I'm learning how to adapt and kind of on the spot try and be the most effective I can for them. And so those are skills that will translate into my role as a physical therapist eventually when I finally graduate. And just critical thinking is huge. It's going to be something that I really, really use throughout my life. And I definitely use it now as an SI leader.
And what I'd like to do is to end the podcast with your voice. And it's kind of an open ended question. What would you like to share to your fellow study group leaders or program directors of study groups? What's the last word that you'd like to be able to share with them?
I think that I would love to I love learning. I love to learn. I'm hungry for it. It is so satisfying for me, and I am so blessed to be able to pursue a college education. Anyone who's involved, whether you're a student or an administrator or a faculty member, professor, we are in an incredible environment for learning, which is perhaps the greatest gift that we're ever going to be given. And I just think that there is nothing of more value than education.